All right, welcome to Ultimate Awesomeness podcast. I have my friend Eric here, and this is Steven. And okay, you're restarting our podcast. Right now we're gonna talk about the Infinity War trailer that just went on this past week. So, Eric, what did you think of it?
It was really interesting. I think I have to rewatch the last couple Avengers movies to kind of get to remember some of the things that are going on, and probably Civil War. But I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline from Jim Starlin, 1980s, and everything that inspired the story. But I don't know. It's just there are aspects of that story that I feel just from the trailer alone, I'm not getting a feel for. The lack of Adam Warlock, the lack of death in the trailer, and I don't know. As much as people are going on about how it looks dark, it looks like things are gonna happen, blah blah, this and that. It doesn't have that sense of true dread that I would hope story that like the Infinity Gauntlet or Infinity Wars would give, because that's like a book from my memory. It's kind of hopeless for the heroes, a lot of it. Spoilers if you've not read it, and spoilers if you don't want to be spoiled in something that probably won't even happen in the movie in the first place. But like in the book, all the Avengers are murdered over and over again by Thanos to power this thing. I forget what it was, something so that he can kind of take over the universe and everything. And Adam Warlock kind of just uses them as chess pieces, not really caring whether they live or die or how often. So I like that approach to that story, and I would like something similar in the movie itself. Otherwise, I feel like it's just playing it the same safe storytelling that they've been doing for the last 10 years almost at this point. I've kind of gotten bored with a lot of Marvel movies because it plays it way too safe with a lot of things. And I'm not talking about subject matter, because people always say Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't safe. But as not safe as its characters were, the storyline is still pretty palatable, easy to tell, and everything. And the only thing that really makes Guardians special to me is its humor, sense of humor, and heart. It still works, but it's just still missing something. But that's my thing with Infinity War. I'm excited for the new costumes and seeing everyone together, but outside of that, it's kind of whatever to me at this point.
Oh, I never actually read the comic book. I'm familiar with it, but I never actually read the book. Like, I've heard things about it. That's all I can say. And I noticed it's like this Infinity War and then this Infinity Gauntlet was just two separate books. And I don't know if they're actually gonna base both storylines both books, or or they're gonna just do one of them.
There was a video they released, or photos they released, I remember, for advertisements for them making it. And it showed an omnibus of the Infinity Gauntlet with a whole bunch of post-it notes sticking out of it, as showing the work they've done into researching the storyline. Which I'm sure that omnibus isn't just the Infinity Gauntlet; it's probably all the Infinity everything. The Infinity War comic, what is that other one? The Infinity Aftermath, and all that other stuff. That's Thanos. So to give a full story, but the main story of that entire arc for Thanos kind of starts with Infinity Gauntlet. That's a big part of it, and that's the most famous. So to me, Quinn from that story is very important.
All right. Well, I don't know how the Avengers 4 is gonna be. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be a continuation of what's going on in Avengers Infinity War. Because it originally was supposed to be Infinity War Part 2, but then they changed the title, which I don't know why, because of that.
Did they announce what the next movie's gonna be called, or they just kind of called it? They just said that they're gonna call it something different.
They just said they're gonna call it something different, but they already started filming, so they just put Avengers 4 as the title. They still haven't figured out the title, and yet they're already filming it. So I don't understand that.
In the process of writing, they probably knew way ahead of time that they were going to change the title, but they just didn't want to announce it just yet because they wanted to ride the hype of it being this thing. They're still going to be connected, everything, but it's possible that their initial plans to make it this big, like part 1 and part 2 of Thanos and the Avengers, the second part probably is going to. I'm curious with that because I wonder if the second part of this is now going to be more have its own standalone storyline that is definitely an aftermath of the first one, but not so much that it's like, like when they did Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2, where it's like one story in 2 movies, or Kill Bill 1 and 2, or one story, 2 movies. They're going to actually just do 2 separate movies that are connected, but they don't have to be consumed one right after the other, really,
I didn't really think about Kill Bill. I forgot it was like it was a volume 1 and 2, but it felt like 2 separate movies.
Yeah, I mean they do feel like 2 different movies, but it's in that same concept where it's one story broken apart because it's too long to be one movie to sell easier. So we'll see if they
Yeah, I think that would be a good example if they do it like that. I don't know. That'd be interesting.
I don't think the name for the next one's going to be put out until the day of or the week of Infinity War's release. Like, they might not even reveal it until like the end of the movie. They're going to wait for the premieres to happen, and it's probably going to be like when they did the Avengers trailer at the end of what was it, Captain America or something.
Yeah.
And, they did the Avengers trailer there, and if they do the same thing for the next part at the end of the Infinity War Part 1, and then that's when they reveal the title. That'd be pretty cool. I'd like that.
Yeah, and I think I'm not sure. I gotta check the schedule. I think Avengers 4 comes out, and I think it comes out after Ant-Man and Wasp. I think.
Right. Oh, well, that is one of the only ones that I know is announcements that comes out Ant-Man and Wasp. Yeah. That's the only one I can remember.
Oh yeah, Captain Marvel. Then it's this is after Captain Marvel.
Right.
Here's Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and Wasp, Captain Marvel, and then Avengers 4.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just kind of weird they're doing this because I've heard that Ant-Man and Wasp and Captain Marvel, timeline-wise, it is before. It's before Avengers Infinity War. So we're gonna see. It's gonna be taking place before Avengers Infinity War, so we could see those characters in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be kind of weird that we're gonna see Avengers Infinity War first, and then we see Ant-Man and Wasp and Captain Marvel after, even though those 2 movies take place before Avengers Infinity War.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I guess people have to be aware and look out for that and not be confused.
Yeah.
So yeah. I noticed in the trailer that Vision is human looking.
That was one of the few things that I was curious about.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was like a hologram or some type of like technology that Vision has that makes him look human.
Yeah.
Or if maybe he found a way to make himself human. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
It's a couple things that I'm thinking on that. One, it could have something to do with any of the characters being on the run from Civil War. It could have something to do with him feeling like he needs to look more human to have people accept him. Because I don't remember what side he ended up on in Civil War. If he was one of the ones that wasn't arrested, and he was allowed to kind of just live his life and be a pawn of the government. And if that's the case, then I would imagine maybe he's doing that to look more human. It could be something in the scene that they show where he's with Scarlet Witch, and it's him to come off more human and less emotionless to Scarlet Witch. But it could be so many things, but it also doesn't feel like there's a lot of I don't know what purpose it would serve the entire plot other than the subplot of their romance, because that's the history of those characters in the comics. So yeah. But it's, there's a lot of intriguing things in it. There's that. I like seeing Thanos' look in it, just kind of how imposing he looks to everyone. I like seeing some of the new looks for certain characters, like Captain America's beard that everyone's in love with, and
that's kind of weird to see Captain America with a beard, because I don't think they actually done that often in the comic books.
Yeah.
The only time I think he had a beard was when he was in Dimensional X. I mean Z. I think Dimensional Z. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I remember that storyline. They was stuck in a dimension, and I think that's the only time I saw him grow a beard.
I think he had one in the other dimension thing in Secret Empire, actually. I can remember that, but I'm not 100% on that.
Oh, yeah, he did have that, too. Yeah. I mean, people were, thinking that that part of Secret Empire was actually, an influence from Dimensional Z.
It's very possible. It's the same kind of concept, being in another dimension. But that's interesting in the trailer. The look of Peter Quill and his mustache was really weird. I was and seeing Teenage Groot in the background was funny.
I actually don't remember those.
Oh, really? It's at the end of the trailer. It's really quick, so I just kind of watched the trailer enough time to kind of remember certain things. So that was funny. But I think out of anything in Infinity War and the trailer itself, the most excited I was for anything was seeing the Earthbound characters, Thor specifically being an Avenger, interacting with the Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's where it really feels like the integration of the different franchises feel like it matters more than anywhere else. Because as much as they're selling it like all these characters on screen for the first time, blah blah blah, I mean they kind of, we've seen most of the time. It just now we'll see Doctor Strange interacting with them, and now we'll see the Guardians interacting with them, and that's the only really new thing. But the Guardians is the really interesting one to me.
Yeah, I just don't know if Adam Warlock's to be in the storyline. They don't show him at all. I just feel weird about that because he's very important.
He's an important part of the story, and he's the main character of the Infinity Gauntlet. He's the main character of Thanos' story, and it's kind of annoying that he's not being featured in it one way or the other. I'm not someone I really try not to be someone that's about, it has to be just like the books, but I don't know, it's one of those things that to me he's such a cool, interesting character that, I don't know, he's a big part of the Thanos story, and I don't know, Thanos is important to his story as much as he's important to Thanos' story, and to just, based off of the Guardians 2 mid-credit scene where they mention Adam Warlock, it just seems like they're setting him up to be a villain for the Guardians in their next movie, and that to me is kind of wasteful of his character to some degree.
Yeah, because he was supposed to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but I heard they couldn't fit him in, so they...
Yeah, I heard that.
So I guess he'll probably be in Volume 3, or he would actually be in Avengers. I don't know. It just seems kind of weird for me. But they did tease it at the end credit scene with Aisha. She just said something about Warlock, I think.
She said something. Yeah, she said we'll call him Adam.
Yeah, that's what it was. I remember. Yeah. So I don't know what's that supposed to be.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like it just, um, I could, I'm excited, but it's one of the few times where, one, I'm already tired of the whole Marvel movies kind of thing. The only movies I feel like I can really say I can watch over and over again have been, if I try, is maybe Thor Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. I can probably rewatch Civil War a couple more times. Everything else, I need like a lot of time in between watching them because they're bland, they're boring sometimes, and I don't know. I'm a movie guy, and it just a lot of aspects of them, and from a screen standpoint, it gets on my nerves.
Oh, well, my favorite is I always like the Captain America movies. I don't know, for some reason
they are good. Yeah,
they are the best ones. And
I agree with that. I don't know. I think it's a fatigue I have with just Marvel in general. I guess working in a comic book store, listening to the Marvel fans talking about Marvel like it's the end all be all comic book company, and hearing them talking about how like Marvel's so much better than DC because the movies are so much better, but they've never read a comic book in their lives.
I know there's a lot of casual fans out in this space.
I have a lot of friends who love the Marvel movies, and they're so excited, and I'm happy that they're excited about it. But then the Marvel versions are their only versions of those characters, which I think is sad because I feel like if they read the books, a couple of books, they'd get a better nuance to the characters, and just they'd have more stories. But it's one of those weird things that I've noticed is that a lot of my friends are smart, they're really good at a lot of things, they love reading, but they don't read comic books, but they'll watch the movies.
Well,
it's weird.
The only person I have is my boyfriend that reads comic books, but doesn't read as much as I do, and he will stop a couple of months and then try to catch up on it. Yeah. But he's more familiar than most people because a lot of my friends don't know anything about comic books. They just watch the Marvel movies and they just try to take it from there, or they just know about the cartoons and then watch the movies, which to me the cartoons have a very limited information of what the Marvel universe is like.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of casual fans that they think they know everything because they saw the cartoons, but the cartoons just scratches the surface on the history. It's not. It's not. It's not the whole entire Marvel universe.
Yeah, with X-Men's fans, it's more like, oh, I love the X-Men, but really all they know is Gambit and Wolverine, and that's all they care about.
Yes, that's pretty much it.
For sure, that they only like those characters, and everything they know about the X-Men is based off of that. I mean, it's not that I have a problem with people who don't read the comics, just watch movies. It's more about the people that think they know everything.
Yeah, it's just the people's attitude towards that. That's the only thing I have a problem.
And it gets frustrating with my friends because they do that and they talk about how DC's always bad, and then they give me that argument that I love Marvel because it's more relatable and it's easier to read and get into a story. And it's like I don't need to relate to a character to enjoy a story. To me, if you have to relate to it, that means you have a shallow sense of what you're getting out of a story because you're only focusing on how you relate to them and not to the overall themes, how they react to the world. You know, having a relation to a character and what they go through with how you go through life is a good way to anchor yourself in the story, but it shouldn't be the reason why you read the story.
It's not the go-to thing. I think you have to try to put yourself in the character's shoes.
Yeah. And you don't have to always do that. No one ever has to always do that. I mean, I grew up reading. I've read plenty of Greek mythology. I read the Bible. I read a bunch of stuff with gods and mortals and everything. And it's not like I want to relate to the guy that can't do anything just because I can't do anything. I like reading about how someone with a lot of power can deal with it and and how that affects them and how they interact with people that aren't as talented or strong as them. That's what makes, out of all the Marvel characters, one of the few ones that actually makes sense on the relatability level is Spider-Man, because it is about him having a great power, so he's therefore the great responsibility, and how he deals with being a normal person, even though he has this secret that he can't reveal to the world. That's why I like Superman too, because Superman is, he's everything. He can do anything, but he has a moral code and a sense of justice and how he relates to humanity, despite him practically being a god. Mm-hmm. People don't appreciate that with Superman or other.
I know. Then with Superman is one of the. It's kind of weird, like the most disliked and most popular character, and according to people, it's like a weird thing because people feel he's too overpowered, which I don't believe, because it's actually other characters that's underrated that's more powerful than he is. But a lot of people don't know that. What else is there to talk about? Another interesting thing I've seen in the posters even before the trailer came out was Black Widow. She had this blonde hair, which is like I forgot what's that other character's name, like Bendino. I don't know if you heard about the other Black Widow that was like a evil.
I've heard of a couple of different Black Widows taking the persona besides Natasha.
Yeah.
I think the blonde hair has more to do. She's in hiding more than anything.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird that they're using Natasha Romanoff as just blonde hair to look like almost like that version of Black Widow.
Yeah. Looks more like Mockingbird to a degree.
I know, but Mockingbird is already in the universe. She was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so...
Was she?
Yeah, she was.
Oh, I don't watch Agents.
Oh, wow. She was there for like 2 seasons.
Oh, well then, yeah.
Yeah, she was actually the main cast, but then she left.
I will definitely have to check that out. So much TV.
Yeah, there is a lot of TV. I mean, it's hard to catch it all, to be honest.
But there's a lot of interesting things to Infinity War. I hope it's good. I'm sure I'll enjoy it no matter what. It's one of those weird things with me. But I mean, I guess move on to the next subject. I mean, that's how it was with me in Justice League. It's not a perfect movie, but I enjoyed it, and I am excited for future DC films. And my mini review for Justice League is if this is a sign of where DC hopes to take their future films. I'm very hopeful and excited for that, because it's I felt like, as cheesy as the movie can be with dialogue and everything, and it's still a little bit choppy. Its story is pretty tight, and the tone was light enough without being pure quippiness like the Marvel movies, but also has a nice amount of, like, what do you call it, weight to what's going on, to kind of feel tension for the characters. But you still feel like everyone's going to get out in the end. So some parts of it doesn't matter in that regard, but I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I guess I could just give a warning that we might go to spoiler territory, so I guess people should be aware of that when listening to this. But yeah, I thought that the Justice League movie was pretty great. I actually enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. It felt like I was watching Justice League War. I don't know if you heard about that. Heard that?
I've heard of it. Yeah, you didn't mean to watch it, but yeah.
Yeah, I've actually watched it. It's pretty fun movie, and the humor was really just like what Justice League is, and it got me feeling like I was watching that movie again when I saw Justice League.
That's good.
Yeah. So, yeah, I noticed this movie is much more funnier than the previous DC movies that's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, a lot of people like to claim that there's no humor in these DC movies, but there actually is.
It's just you have to look at it differently. I mean, there was plenty.
Yeah, just looking at it differently.
What I think my favorite part about humor in the movie was just that it shows that how Batman isn't necessarily he's a tactician, and when it comes to these larger than life threats, he's not so much a superhuman, and he can get knocked down faster than everyone else, but he can plan everything and move everyone as chess pieces to really solve problems, and that's his biggest strength in these types of situations, which I really like, because he kept getting knocked down, and they use it for laughs a couple times, and it works, and it worked actually for me. People thought that it was taken away from his grittiness, but I thought it showed how human he is. He's a human in a suit, working with people who have abilities far beyond his means, and it worked, and it also worked through the whole. I feel like him being a normal human, experiencing all these things, and he's out of his element, so he's gonna act or react in kind of a dopey way in some parts, like his reactions to seeing the Flash's abilities for the first time, or getting knocked down on his ass. They all made sense, and they were funny, so I liked it a lot.
And I noticed that Batman, the Batman in the Justice League in the comic books is kind of different. I just thought about that, because the problem with Batman in the comic books, sometimes he makes it seem like he doesn't want to work in a team, and in Justice League he actually shows that he wants to work in a team, which is kind of weird.
I wouldn't say that the comic book versions express that so much. He definitely showed. He just has moments, I feel, that are more known than others, where he just says, like, well, I don't need you guys anyway, but that's more because that's his reaction to certain situations where no one wants to listen to him. Because ultimately, that's what I get when I read the comics. He says something like that, because it always comes across because no one will listen to his viewpoint, which I guess is a childish thing, but that's just kind of how he can be, because he's used to being the leader and used to everyone listening to him and doing what he says. But when that's not the case, he's just like, well, I'll do it anyway because I know I'm right. So it just works like that, because otherwise he's really good at working together with everyone and making sure everyone is good at what they're doing, placing the right spots. And, I think the other part of him being a loner for the Justice League is that not everything he deals with or knows about or threat that's coming, he wants them to be a part of. Sometimes he thinks he just can do it alone. He just compartmentalizes his abilities to solve problems more than anything. So that's my interpretation.
Yeah, he's kind of I guess, I don't know, in the Justice League movie he feels like a little bit laid back to me.
It works, yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that aspect, so.
Which I think actually does work. I kind of get annoyed sometimes when Batman gets too strict with everyone.
Yeah, I can see that. It makes sense. I mean, you can be, and it's annoying, but it works for this version.
Yeah, it does work.
A little bit more.
It's like,
I think it's one of those good things when having an actual person in a suit saying these lines kind of adds to it. So.
I don't know, but I've noticed this is why I enjoy movies and TV shows. Sometimes I do enjoy the comic books a lot, but for some reason, when this opportunity comes for movies and TV shows, they kind of humanize the characters that weren't such humanized in the comic books, and I like that kind of feel. So yeah, that's why I like the opportunity just to have these movies and TV shows, because they write them a little bit differently, and sometimes it comes out better than the actual book.
Is that how you felt about Punisher? Because I haven't seen that. I know you did, but is that?
No, not for Punisher. I don't I don't think there's an example of that, but
It doesn't humanize him at all. It just kind of.
no, it does humanize him, but I don't know. I think I've always seen Punisher humanized in the comic books. I don't.
Okay. I've not read a lot of Punisher and I've not watched the show yet. So my main view of the Punisher comes through bits and pieces I've read from that have been shared from comics, and then watching the Thomas Jane movie and him and Daredevil season 2. Those are my main Punisher kind of images for me. So,
Oh. No.
It's not a character I'm as familiar with.
I guess I'm familiar with the Punisher a lot because he's one of my favorite characters, and I've read a lot of Punisher books, and I've seen all the Punisher movies. I even saw the crappy Dolph Lundgren movie that came out in the 1990s. I think it was awful. But yeah. It's a pretty good TV. I mean, the Punisher Netflix series is pretty good. I enjoyed it, and it did some things differently than the comic books, and I'm still okay with that. I actually enjoyed it.
That's good.
Yeah, it doesn't. It follows the comic books to some extent, but then there's some things they did change, and I think they changed it because the previous Punisher movie already touched that, so I guess they wanted to do it differently. So they decided to do something on their own, and it came out well, I think.
That's good.
Yeah. And
I enjoy it when I watch it.
yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. I guess I'll just go back to Justice League first for now. What is it? What did you think of the Flash? Because I noticed a lot of people have like polarizing opinions about him in the movie.
I mean, I have this polarizing opinions too. I think it's that thing of calling him Barry, but he doesn't seem like Barry because he's too naive and jokey, and he's not. I don't know. He just doesn't feel like how I've always seen the character of Barry Allen, and then he comes across more like not even Wally West Flash. He just comes across as a kid Flash, whether it be Bart, Wally from either Wally or any other kind of young Flash character.
Well, okay.
But he works in the movie, and I like his dynamic with all the other characters, and I like the fact that it plays on him still figuring out how to use his powers to work out in a fight or saving people. But it just kind of goes too much like making him Spider-Man or something. He's too innocent at points.
Yeah, I did like the Flash a lot. He was pretty funny, and I don't know. I can't decide if he was actually like Barry from the comic books or the TV show or any kind of Barry. I'm kind of I guess confused about it. But because there are times where Barry does joke around, or that's more of a Wally character, but it's kind of hard. So yeah, the only thing I didn't like is that Flash was an experienced hero. Like was like Justice League was literally his first time being a superhero, and that felt kind of weird to me. Like I wish he was a little bit more experienced before, before Justice League. But apparently they just made it like Justice League is his first time being a superhero. So I understand why he was like that. Like it was kind of weird where he's like, "Oh, I never actually hit anyone. I just pushed them away and just." save people like that. So it's like, oh, he's not really that experienced.
Yeah.
And I felt kind of weird about that. What did you say?
I like that, and I didn't. It's how it is, and I feel like it would have worked better if it was in his own solo movie first, and then he was more experienced by the time the Justice League. But that's just kind of how it happened.
Yeah, I've noticed that's how it happened, but I still enjoy the movie despite it having that.
Yeah, same. My favorite parts are probably super good fight scenes. I like the Aquaman a lot. He was great in it.
Yeah, I really loved Aquaman because he kind of reminds me of the Aquaman from Batman Brave and the Bold, where he's just more cheerful. He has like a more cheerful personality. Like he did close himself off a bit in the beginning, but he started to open himself a little bit more.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
He has it's an obvious arc, but it's a neat arc about him being reluctant and then him going into it because he feels attacked and then him trying to accept the responsibilities that he has as a king, as a person with the powers he has, and as his responsibility to helping the earth. So it plays out nicely. And him, like you said, he's cheerful yet brooding. He's aloof and laid back, but powerful. It's a really neat dynamic that he has, and he's just a lot of fun to watch. And I'm excited for his solo movie and how they play with that. I think my only concern with the Aquaman solo movie is that I felt like what's her name, Amber Heard, who plays Mira, was kind of bland and didn't get any chemistry between him and her. And I don't know if that was the writing or if it was them or what, but it was kind of a letdown with that. She looks the part, but at the same time, it just something didn't feel right with her.
Wonder Woman?
No, Mira.
Mira. She was. I can't really say much of anything with Mira because she was like 10 minutes, I think, in the movie, or 5. So it's kind of like I have no opinion about it. Because I didn't see enough to make an opinion.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm excited for seeing her on screen. It's a character that I really like when it comes to Aquaman lore. I like in their dynamic, especially like in the New 52, where like he's, they're like he's teaching her about the ways of the land, and
I know she's more of an active member of the relationship in the comic books now. Like she's more involved with Aquaman in the comic books as of right now. I actually like that aspect, and
she has a really good relationship with him, and the way they play off each other is really good in the comics. But that's what I mean. It's supposed, but I get that it's that whole they're meeting for the first time. So
I think that's why they did that, because they met the first. This is like probably like the first year they're together, and
but it's like her accent is weird, and their interaction had no real chemistry. But that could be just the way the script was. I'm hoping that she chooses to just use her normal voice or just something less trying to be European or something, and just have something more normal. And then hopefully they have a better chemistry in the next one, because it was just something was off about her. She looked great. The fight scene was really cool. Underwater, seeing them use their water power.
Yeah, that was a great scene. That underwater scene with those two. I actually like that, and I'm hoping to see more of that in Aquaman movie, which is supposed to come out. Is coming out next year. They're already done filming it, so
I'm hoping for that as well.
It's just kind of weird. It's like the only DC movie next year, and the only movie they have ready, which I don't know what they're gonna do after Aquaman.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm excited for it either way, because Aquaman was my favorite part of the Justice League in a lot of ways, and I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for the future DC movies. It was a tighter movie. It was then Big Batman vs Superman. It wasn't as long. It had plenty of good humor. good humor in it. I like the characters a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like the main thing that Justice League suffered from was just because they're trying to just sell the Justice League movie so much before establishing the characters like Marvel did with the Avengers. It just rushes a lot of the character relationships and their backstories a bit. You know, like I said, I would have liked Flash to have been more fleshed out, other than like him already working at Start Labs.
Yeah, I noticed. I thought the CSI thing was kind of weird. Like he just got the job, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not sure like if he earned it. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's certain things like why it's the comparison to Peter Parker, because like I feel like his foot in the door for his job and his future is given to him by Batman, much like it feels like a lot of things that are.
Yeah, it was just like handed to him instead of actually. Does he have a degree in, like, did he actually go to college for this, or they just hand him the job?
They hint that he did.
Oh, okay.
They kind of hint at it, but it's not like a lot, and I don't know, it's things that are rushed, and I feel like what it would make it more interesting is just Barry just kind of goes through his own character arc where it ends with him finally, stepping up, going get an internship in CSI and all that stuff. And
yeah.
Working in.
I think the problem is that DC is still trying to catch up to Avengers, and they need to stop that because they're already way behind. I mean, Avengers Infinity War is gonna have tons of more characters than Justice League had. So it's like you're already way behind. So forget about it. Just
they really do just need to forget about trying to catch up. I mean, it seems like they're going to try to level off because I've heard them mention that they weren't going to make a Justice League sequel or connected movies too much.
Well,
they're just going to focus on the individual films, which I think is what they should do.
Just focus on individual movies, then
see what happens.
Then do the team movies.
Yeah, which hopefully will happen. I really hope, because I love that universe so much, and I want a Dark Side movie. I want a Fourth World movie. I want a whole New Gods.
Yeah, I do want to see Dark Side. I mean,
I want to see Dark Side. I want to see Apocalypse. I want to see Metron, Highfather, Orion, Mr. Miracle. I want to see all these characters come together and against Dark Side. I want to see Granny Goodness. I would love to see
I just don't know how they're going to do that because it's kind of weird. She's like a brolic old woman, so you can't have that in real life, I think, but...
I mean, we'll see.
I just wonder how they're gonna... Who would they get to be Granny Goodness? And...
Kathy Bates.
I don't really actually remember who that is.
Did you ever watch Mystery? She's the main star of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I actually know who she is. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she could pull it off. And I was thinking of I don't think that. I'm not sure that's gonna work. Agent M from the James Bond movies. But I'm not sure she's gonna do it. She can pull it off.
Probably not. She would work. They just need to have like some sort of green screen on top of her body or something.
Yeah, that's a problem. Was like she's got a brolic old woman, but I guess they can make her not so as brolic, and maybe she'll be like more of like a person who stands in the background and let people do the fight for her. Kind of thing.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's why it's like not everything actually translates well from comic books to movies and TV, because like movies and TV is trying to make everything realistic, while comic books is more of a fantasy thing. So yeah, and I guess I would talk about Cyborg for a little bit, because I actually did like how they did him in this movie too.
He did a good job surprisingly.
Yeah, I actually liked the actor, And I think this is his first movie. 'Cause I remember he said that he only did a play before, and they just hired him. And I think he did pretty well for like his first time. I actually like that this cyborg is more, I guess, articulate. Like he's much more intelligent.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty nice. Even though he's like a football player, and it didn't come off as a stereotype. Like, if you're a football player, you're not actually smart, but they actually changed that, and he's a little bit much more smarter.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually like that, and I feel like he was taking charge.
Yeah, there's a lot of good moments with him where he shows more of himself, and he wasn't just a brute or anything. He had a lot of intelligence because of his abilities, and already before his abilities, and how he kind of how he figured his way throughout the movie. It was actually really fun to watch, and
yeah, and I like
funny as well.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, his character was always funny, especially in the comic books, and I mean, there was a lot of interactions with him and Shazam in the comic books that were pretty funny.
Yeah.
And they did pretty well translating that. And so yeah, he had like they had that fun ratio with Flash this time. It's like they just transferred like a Shazam over to Flash to accommodate that. So yeah, that was pretty fun, and I like that the Mother Box actually had his own identity, kind of, because they never actually did that in the comics until recently. I think Dark Knight's Metal just started to explore that. Like they just like the Mother Box has its own identity. They never actually did that before, I noticed.
Yeah, it was interesting how it works out. Yeah, I've seen that. I think that in the original Mr. Miracle, but I kind of remember it having a sentience to it, how they talk about mother boxes and stuff. Bugs the Forager, the current miniseries by the Allreds, kind of goes into that as well.
Oh.
How the whole mother box and booming tubes and everything, how they all interact with each other. It's really confusing at first, but it's interesting reading, especially into how a mother box works. So
yeah,
there's a lot of cool stuff with that, and I like seeing that in the movie as well.
We want to talk about the post credit scene with was it Lex Luthor and Deathstroke?
Yeah, that was interesting. I'm not sure exactly how to feel about that. It was cool because it was cool to see Lex Luthor's out and about, and it was cool to see Deathstroke, but it also just felt like there's no purpose to it. If that makes sense. I didn't get it a whole lot, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to lead into the next Justice League or if it's supposed to lead into all the other sequels and individual movies like the Batman movie and the next Superman movie and everything.
I just don't know what's that gonna lead to either, because it's like they just put that in there like last minute, because this whole thing is supposed to be about meeting Darkseid, and it's just kind of weird to just sneak in Lex Luthor and Deathstroke in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, is this supposed to be leading to Darkseid, or is it supposed to be leading to Legion of Doom? Like,
yeah,
Lex Luthor.
It's confusing for sure.
It's confusing, yeah. So I don't know what to think of that, and I find that kind of interesting still.
For sure, yeah. I mean, we'll see. It's one of those ones that I'm sure trying not to put a lot of brain thought into. I'm just going to let that one be what it is and see if it becomes anything or not, because it really seems like it could be something or it could be nothing.
Yeah.
It's just a neat little teaser. It's just how it's filmed and everything and how it doesn't make sense. It's exciting just because Joe Manganiello looks really good as Deathstroke, but outside of that, it's whatever.
How did you feel about Superman in the Justice League movie?
There's certain things about that were pretty interesting. I mean, it's funny because it's the same kind of it's the same kind of comic booky BS that happened in the comic books to revive them, and I like that because I think it's funny. And I like that whole sequence. I thought it was really funny in its own weird way, even though it's supposed to be played for seriousness. But that's kind of like comic books. It's just something that is supposed to be serious within their world is just so ridiculous to us that it's kind of funny and enjoyable because it's silly. But,
I kind of like the way they did it in the movie, and I thought that the comic version was ridiculous. I guess I'm the opposite of you. I'm not so sure. Like,
they're both ridiculous. I just think it was just really funny either way. They're both funny.
oh, okay.
I know the comic book version, and it's really so silly. It's like, oh, a Kryptonian suit, of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was, and I kind of like.
It's like, oh, the mother box can give life energy. Let's see if we can give it some static electricity while it's in this pod, and it'll revive Superman.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous, that part.
It's the same stupid kind of comic book nonsense, but it's fun because I like that stuff. I like metal so much.
Okay.
It's so silly and ridiculous, but it's fun. It's still, it works, and it's, so, as long as you can make it work, it's good to me.
And, I don't know, I just thought that I like that they actually try to revive him with the mother box, which is interesting because we don't know what's the potential of the mother box, and it's I kind of like how they brought that potential ability for the mother box. But I don't know. But did you feel like, because I don't necessarily agree with the general people with. It said that they see Superman more like the comic books now, but I've always seen him like the comic books. I just don't understand that. Like,
no, I agree with that. I don't get why people always have this whole sense of like Superman's not like the comic books, blah blah this and that. And to me, it depends on what you're reading with comic books for one.
Yeah, it's like people just have a broad. I mean, like they don't have a broad. They have like a very closed off of what they know. Compared to what actual people reading out the actual books is.
From this old, silly golden age and silver age kind of comic books where it's, it's like, arms on his hips, standing at a pose and looking dominant and everything, and then him smiling at everyone and being like, eat the vegetables. It's not so simple with Superman. Like, Superman is well written, like if you read All-Star Superman. He deals with human emotion. He deals with saving people at their darkest moments and giving them hope. And to me, Man of Steel did show that he's about giving hope. And just people focus so much on the drab colors in comparison.
And they try to compare the Justice cartoon, which is more of a a cheerful Superman and doesn't go through he did go through the darkness like in the Justice League cartoon, not so much as Superman.
Yeah.
And
I think he did though. He does because they do some storylines from there.
Yeah, that's why I find it kind of weird that people said that he doesn't have a dark personality, but like I've seen it in Justice League, so I don't know what people are talking about.
Yeah. Really, it's just people's small conception, like idea of what Superman is, and book fans who are also hating on it. It comes from this perspective of like they only view Superman a certain way, no matter how he beat in the comics. So in the comic books, the same thing. Like it was the same thing when people were complaining about when he lost his powers a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when it was during the DCU thing.
Yeah.
During the grounded storyline, and I liked it. That's how
I actually did like that storyline a lot. It was pretty good. I was
reading, and I liked it. It was well done, and I feel like it tied in well to who Superman is and how he deals with the situation.
Yeah, I don't. A lot of people think that the Superman comic books started being good with Jeff Johns or Dan Jurgens, but I actually think Greg Pak did a well job with Superman at the time.
Yeah, there's so many ways that Superman can be written, and you can see his worldview and tell his story. but people have a very close-minded thought of what he's supposed to be, and they complain if he's anything different than that.
Yeah.
Including anything now. There's plenty.
That's why
the whole John thing, because they don't like that he has a family now, but it's dumb because it's still Superman, and I feel like a lot of his cheery old timiness is coming back in the current stuff with the Superman family.
I've noticed with the Superman family, he's more mature, but that's only because he's older. And I kind of understood why he wasn't that mature before, because he was younger. Yeah. So a lot of people were not understanding that, I noticed, and it became jarring when you hear people's complaints sometimes about the new 52 Superman.
Yeah, it's whatever, and I just let people complain and enjoy what I enjoy now.
Yeah, I actually and that's why I was kind of disappointed when they combined the two Supermans into one character. I kind of want them to keep it separate, because I actually like both versions of Superman. Yeah. So and they made the origin kind of jarring, just combining the two Superman characters.
Yeah, I like it though. I don't mind stuff like that. Sometimes you gotta like make things simpler for people to enjoy, and make it simpler for everyone to write and edit and all that stuff.
I mean, I'm still enjoying Superman comic books. It's kind of odd, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
I guess we could start with the comic books as of right now. So yeah.
I think this has been a light week. I mean, for me, it was mostly annuals in Moon Knight and Killer Be Killed.
All right. Is there any comic book you want to talk about that you enjoyed this week?
I mean, everyone's talking about the Batman annual. That was really good. That's probably one of my favorites this week, along with Moon Knight.
I didn't get to read those, but you can say it. It's fine.
I'm not going to spoil anything. I just wanted to say that everything I read this week was surprisingly good. I was blown away by a lot of the new releases this week. I just kind of picked out a couple things and just looked at what I would enjoy. Batman Annual. Oh, you know what? I read several things. I have it right in front of me, actually. Batman Annual was really good look into the relationship between Batman and Catwoman. It's really sweet. It's got great artwork in it. Elite Weeks and Elizabeth Breitweiser, who does the coloring for a lot of the Sean Phillips, Ed Brubaker books, like Killer Be Killed, Fatal, and not Fatal, but she did the Fade Out and stuff like that, and she's a great colorist, so it's got a nice old-timey noir feeling to it. I also read a nice Christmas Green Arrow annual, which was interesting, and the Super Sons annual was great. The Super Sons annual is... I was
interested in Superman. I mean, it's Super Sons annual because they have Krypto and... I forgot the dogs.
Krypto, it's Titus.
Titus.
It's not Ace the Bat.
Yeah, I know. Ace the Bat Hound is a different dog. I mean, he was They did do a story about Ace the Bat Hound before, a long time ago.
In this book, it's just an image, though. But it's more about Titus.
Yeah, because he passed away. I remember that. So.
Ace is in it. There's a.
Although he actually died, like. It's kind
of. I don't know. There's a dog next to Titus on the bed, and they have pillows that say Ace and Titus. I don't know if maybe that was.
Because there was another story way back with Batman. He had a dog named Ace, and he did become a bad dog. But it's like he got the Yellow Lantern ring, and so somehow that caused him to.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
He couldn't control himself, and Batman had to put him to sleep, something like that. Yeah. I don't remember too much about it. That he actually died, and that was it.
Yeah. But yeah, the Super Sons annual was really fun. When it comes to other DC stuff, Batman Creature of the Night was really good. I think we really want to check out Superman Secret Identity now.
Oh, I never actually read those. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a concept using Superman. Like Superman is a real person in our world who's named Clark Kent. He grew up reading Superman comics, and then he finds out he can fly. And Batman Creature of the Night is about a young man who loves Batman, and then he ends up in a situation where his parents died, and and him growing up and using Batman as kind of his security blanket somewhat. It's more complex than that. I really simplified it, but it was a really good first issue. It could be a 4-issue series. Prestige format can be a little bit more expensive.
Oh, okay.
Ads, which is really cool. The artwork's really good. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, another one I liked was Mystik from DC.
I actually want to read that, but I haven't read it yet.
It's really fun. I like stories like this set in a college university setting, and it's kind of cheesy in that sense, but I like the characters. It's trying to solve a mystery that's going on at a university where magic users are learning how to control their abilities and how to gain strength with their powers. It's really fun. If you like Gotham Academy.
Oh yeah, that's how I was hoping it would be like Gotham Academy, because I actually like that book.
It's similar.
It's like that book was actually underrated, and
it really was.
I actually enjoyed it a lot. Like, I enjoyed the whole run of the Gotham Academy.
I haven't finished it, but I loved what I read, and if you did like that, I do recommend Mystik to you because it has a similar style, albeit
yeah.
I'm sure it's older characters, so maybe they're a bit more insufferable.
I kind of
some people because teenagers, college students can be really annoying.
It was like I really enjoyed Gotham Academy because it was like so weird, and there was like one little bit of a flaw, like there was like the teachers were like villains, and like it's crazy how so much bad things could happen in that school, and like Batman is not aware of it. Like he would come on and off, like make a few appearances, but like it's like, dude, there's like so much going on in this school, and you're not involved with it, or like like it was kind of weird that they had teachers as supervillains, and
it's true, yeah.
I liked it, but it was kind of weird that no one was aware of that going on in the school. Like it was like very underground still.
Yeah. But yeah, if you like that, definitely check out Mystik. It's really good. I also picked up Sword of Ages, which is a new book this week. If you have read Lock and Key by Joe Hill,
no.
The artist for that, Gabriel Rodriguez, has done his own solo book called Sword of Ages, which is kind of a sci-fi King Arthur style story. It's a bit dense at points, but I like it a lot. I wonder if I could reread it and kind of get more of the story and try to figure it out more. I'm not too familiar with Arthurian legends, so I'm probably something that's a little lost on me. But I love the artwork because I love Gabriel Rodriguez's artwork. It's his first written book that he wrote all by himself and drew everything. So it's an interesting story in its own. The first issue is out now. It's really good. And I also read Kill or Be Killed, which if you're already reading that, is one of the best comics out there right now. So I can't really say much about that. And the newest issue of Moon Knight was really enjoyable. It's a good continuation of what Max Phoenix started with his first issue of Moon Knight last month.
Mm-hmm.
Finally showing Moon Knight himself in it, and it's also neat because which is what I'm excited about, is that Max Phoenix has a history of mental illness, so he kind of he knows a lot about these diseases, and I like his interpretation of how Moon Knight's personalities manifest themselves and everything. So yeah, it was really good.
And what is it? So yeah, what else? I guess I could talk about the books that I've read this week. I'm still a week behind, so I haven't read what happened this week. I actually did like the Justice League, I think number 33 with Cyborg, because they actually let him be the leader for during that book, and I like how they did that because I've always thought I would see him as a leader because he's a football player and he felt like I forgot what's the leading position for football, but guess I'm not that really familiar with the sport. But yeah, he felt like a character that could be a leader, and they never did that. And I liked how they pulled that off in Justice League, and it was very well done. And I kind of like that he was leading the Justice League in that book.
That's good.
Yeah, and I've heard that Christopher Priest is actually gonna make him the leader in the Justice League book when he starts writing it. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, so I'm wondering what's he gonna do with the Justice League book. I mean, I'm happy that he's actually being the writer for this book because I didn't like Brian Hitch's Justice League. It was like a really horrible.
Read an issue and gave up.
It just felt like short stories of Justice League. It was not, the characters weren't that deep and they didn't really interact much. Just like straight up action, and the stories were too short. They didn't have any long arcs. And I kind of like Christopher Priest writing from Deathstroke. Mm-hmm. That's my first book I've read of his, and I love it. And I just hope that Justice League is actually good as Deathstroke.
Yeah, I read the first 2 or 3 issues. I really liked it. I want to read his Black Panther and anything else he's read.
Yeah, I've heard he wrote Black Panther, but I never read it, so I kind of do want to read that too.
Yeah.
And I actually like that they use the Mother Box in the Justice League issue, and that's what I thought. It made me think of the Justice League movie when I read it. So yeah.
Yeah, so when you said that.
Yeah, and that's why I actually like it a lot. It just made me think of other things. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was fun. I also have liked Harley Quinn 30. I just think is number 31, 32 because it's like one of the last few books with Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor. And I'm kind of sad to see them go, but I've been writing the book for like 5 years, and I think it's time to let it go. So I'm okay with that, but I actually liked the ending a lot because you see Harley Quinn go through a lot of stuff, and you can actually see that she has a good heart, which I actually like that. And I guess I'll go to spoiler because I don't know how to avoid it, but what got me annoyed is that they did spoil it in the news before the comic book actually came out. But
what was that?
No, that they kind of spoiled the comic book before it came out in the news.
Oh, okay.
And in the news the comic book websites, and I was kind of disappointed they actually spoiled it. I was like, alright, the book hasn't even come out yet, and you're gonna spoil it. So yeah, I was kind of disappointed about that, but is that her boyfriend ends up dying, and I was kind of sad about that. When I actually went to go read the book, it was they actually pulled it off pretty well, and I actually liked that. And I guess I didn't want him to die because I like the relationship between him and Harley Quinn. They actually had a happy relationship, and it's the first time seeing her with someone who actually treats her well, not like the Joker that treated her like crap. So it was good to finally see that. And I was hoping, for Harley Quinn to end on a happy note, like for her to be happy finally and be with the man she wants to be with. But comic books, they always try to make the character going through some deep, dark, depressing stuff. But I don't know, for some reason, I still enjoyed what the book was doing. That it did the opposite of what I wanted. And I'm actually okay with it. And there's one more book I want to talk about is Scooby Doo Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm not caught up on that, but yeah.
Oh, I actually enjoy that book a lot. It's kind of weird. I was surprised that I did think I was gonna enjoy it, but I'm enjoying it more than I expected. So yeah, and the recent story is also pretty dark and deep, like Harley Quinn. I mean, like the little kid meets they go to this town with Scooby Doo and the gang, and they meet a little girl with powers, and she ends up getting the Scooby gang accidentally. Well, they killed her on purpose, but they didn't know that she was a monster. I mean, like they just thought that the monsters bit her and she turned into a monster. It was too late for her. That she wasn't really conscious of herself, but she actually was. And it's kind of sad that the Scooby gang wasn't aware of the girl being actual, that she can turn herself into a monster, but she was actually conscious. And the only little boy that they're with knew that, and it's kind of sad that he got close to her and started talking, and then Velma just shoots her at the end, and just like, damn it, like she should have done that. And I kind of understood why she did it, but not Velma, it was Daphne. But I just wish the Daphne could have not done that. But it's just kind of sad that actually the way it happened. So, right. That's all I've enjoyed this week.
That's good stuff.
So yeah, I think. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or that's about it? Because I have nothing else.
I mean, not too much. I mean, I just kind of wanted to briefly say, Doomsday Clock was another good book to come out.
Oh yeah! Oh wow! We actually forgot to say Doomsday Clock. I guess we could talk about that right now.
I mean, I can't actually now. You have to head out, so, but. I do want to say it is worth checking out. It is very promising what it hopes to. The story hopes to tell, I think. I'm a big fan of The Watchmen. I'm also not someone that thinks that it's a sacred thing that cannot be touched, which I feel like any story has any ability to be touched as long as the continuing story is enjoyable. It will not ruin the original, I don't think. No matter what, because the original's still there, and it's still, if you still love the original, it's still the.
Thank you for that, because actually you feel the same way, and I see people who don't think the Watchmen should be touched, but I've always wanted to see the Watchmen characters cross over with the DC characters, and
yeah.
I wanted more stories with them, and I'm kind of glad we're getting that. And I don't know how to feel about Doomsday Clock, to be honest, because it's the first issue and they didn't explain too much, so I don't know how to feel about it as of yet. But it's interesting.
It's definitely a slow burn, and I like that. So that's how I feel about it. Is that the first chapter of a slow burn, a 12-issue slow burn, was very engaging. It set up a lot of things, more just very small things like setting up new characters, the situation of where everyone's at the beginning, and it gives you glimpses of what's to come.
I definitely.
There's a lot of questions, a lot of mystery, but it's still.
I don't know. It makes me want to go back and read Watchmen because I actually forgot a lot of stuff than I thought. And I'm like,
I want to rewrite it because I just love it. So I've read it like 10 times.
I really don't like the original Watchmen book. I like the movie more.
Oh really?
Yeah, I enjoy the movie more because the thing is the Watchmen book is kind of slow. It's like a very slow burn. Like the book,
I love that. So.
It just drags it out too much, and I don't like I think the newspaper stuff and the pirates thing was unnecessary in the story. So it's like there's a lot of unnecessary stuff that didn't need to be there, and I kind of like that the movie got rid of that. I know they did do that in extended cuts and I guess behind the scene features, like they added it to the DVD.
Right. I like all that stuff. I feel like it's necessary, but it's more of a thematic thing than anything.
Yeah.
I get why people don't like it. It's definitely up my alley. So.
Yeah, and I just confused at the end of Watchmen. Like, I thought I guess I'm confusing the movie and the book together. I had to actually read it again, and yeah, because I don't remember the world continuing after the whole alien invasion thing.
No, yeah, the world continues on. People go into hiding and everything. In the comic book, it definitely shows that the world's in peace as they're working together against an external threat as the alien race. And
okay, yeah, because I need to refresh my memory with that one.
Night Owl and Silk Spectre go undercover, live their life in California with different aliases and different disguises and everything. So
okay,
you do have to reread it, but it does make sense, and I feel like the beginning of Doomsday Clock and what's going on in the world makes complete sense to me, and is what I thought would happen anyway. So
yeah. I really want to reread Watchmen and see if I can familiar myself with it. Yeah, that's.
Do that. It'll definitely help your enjoyment of Doomsday Clock. I want to reread it just because I love rereading it.
Yeah.
More out of my rereads of Doomsday Clock and the next issue and everything. So.
Yeah, I didn't know how to feel about Doomsday Clock. Like, I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I don't know what's going on, so I have to.
It's gonna be helpful rereading Watchmen. So.
Yeah, I have to refresh my mind. Yeah, I think that's about it. And
yeah, it was nice talking to you on that one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna end the podcast here. So I hope you guys enjoy the show, and hopefully we can look forward to doing this again sometime. And is there anything you want to say, Eric, or that's about it?
Yeah, just keep reading. Enjoy what you enjoy. Don't let what others. Just enjoy what you enjoy. Just there's a lot of good stories out there, and new and old, and just happy reading.
All right, that's about it. See you guys later. All right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.